Am I the asshole for refusing to bail out my family after I found out they risked their house for my sister? I'm writing this at my kitchen table, staring at my phone like it might suddenly make sense of the last 72 hours. It won't. I'm Ethan, 34, senior software engineer. I left home at 22 for a job 3 states away and never moved back. My sister Lena is 29, married at 21, had 3 kids by 26, still lives in the same small town where we grew up. For the past 5 years, I've been the family ATM, not in dramatic ways, just steady, reliable there when needed. Roof repair after the storm, I sent $3,000. Dad's medical bills when insurance fell short, another $2,500. Lena's kids needed new beds, $800. Christmas presents, school supplies, the electric bill that one winter. It added up to over $30,000 without me really noticing until I looked at my records last night. I never got thank you cards, never got asked how I was doing, just texts that started with "Hey, so we need," followed by a number. Thursday night Lena called, not texted, called. That should have been my first warning. Ethan, Mom and Dad are about to lose the house. We need $4,000 by Monday or the bank forecloses. I felt something cold settle in my chest. What happened? Does it matter? They need help, we're family. It matters to me. They got behind on payments, medical stuff, you know how it is. I did know, I'd been covering medical stuff for years. Why can't you help? You and Jason have 2 incomes. The silence lasted long enough that I heard her kids yelling in the background. We have 3 children, Ethan. Every penny goes to them. You're single, no kids, you make 6 figures, this is pocket change for you. $4,000 isn't pocket change. It is compared to letting your parents lose their house. I told her I needed to think about it, that's when she got angry. Think about it, what's there to think about? They're your parents, they raised you, you owe them. I've given over $30,000 in 5 years, Lena. And we've been here. Taking care of them, visiting them, being actual family while you ran off to play big shot in the city. That landed exactly how she meant it to. I didn't run off, I took a job. You left, and if you leave, you pay for it, that's how this works. I sat with that for a moment, the clarity of it, the honesty buried in the cruelty. I'm not sending the money. Then don't expect to be part of this family anymore. She hung up. Within an hour, I was out of the family group chat. By morning, there was a Facebook post from my aunt, didn't name me directly but made it clear enough, about ungrateful children who abandon their struggling parents. I keep thinking about that phrase. You left, and if you leave, you pay for it. Like love was a subscription service. Like family was something I'd opted out of and now owed back rent on. So Reddit, am I the asshole for refusing to send money I technically have when my parents might actually lose their house? Edit, people are asking why I didn't just call my parents directly. Fair question, I tried, my dad didn't answer. My mom texted back, talk to your sister. That told me everything I needed to know. Edit 2, someone asked if the $30K was loans or gifts. Gifts, every penny, I never asked for repayment. I didn't keep score until this happened. Update 1, 3 days since my last post. I needed time to process before writing this. I called my father Sunday afternoon, not my mom, not Lena, him. He's always been the quieter one, less likely to spin things. He answered on the 4th ring. Ethan. Dad, I need you to tell me the truth. What's actually happening with the house? Silence. Long enough that I checked if the call had dropped. Your mother's going to be upset I'm telling you this. Tell me anyway, he sighed, the kind of sigh that carries years in it. We refinanced 3 years ago, took out equity, about $40,000. My stomach dropped. For what? Lena and Jason needed a new truck, theirs died, and they had credit card debt. We wanted to help. I couldn't speak, literally couldn't form words. We thought we could handle the new payment, he continued. But then my hours got cut and we got behind, not terribly behind, just behind enough that it's become a problem. Why didn't you tell me? Lena said you'd judge us, said you'd lecture about financial responsibility. We didn't want to deal with that. So instead you hid it and then demanded money when it became a crisis. We didn't demand, Lena did. She called it family obligation. He was quiet again. The truck, I said. The one you refinanced your house for, Lena still has it. Yes, nice truck too. Jason needed it for work. Does he need it for work? Pause. I don't know, I thought he did. I hung up. Didn't mean to be rude, just couldn't continue the conversation without saying things I'd regret. The next morning my uncle called, my dad's brother. Your mother's been calling everyone saying you're heartless. Thought you should know the family's turning against you. Did Dad tell anyone what the refinance was actually for? No, just said they got behind on payments. Ask him about the truck. What truck? I explained. He went quiet. Jesus Christ, he finally said. They mortgaged the house for a truck and credit card debt. And now they want you to bail them out. Apparently that's what I owe for leaving. He didn't call me heartless after that. I got texts from cousins I haven't spoken to in years, half of them calling me selfish, the other half saying they didn't know the full story and were sorry for judging. Lena sent me one message, "Hope you feel good about yourself." I didn't respond, haven't sent the money, won't be sending it. I would have helped if they'd been honest, if they'd said we made a mistake and we need help fixing it. But they lied, set me up as the villain for not blindly funding their choices. I'm done being the emergency fund for a family that sees me as an ATM with legs. Edit, people asking if I'm worried about my parents ending up homeless. Yes, I am. But I'm not responsible for choices they made 3 years ago and hid from me. That's not the same as abandoning them. Edit 2. Someone asked if Lena or Jason have jobs. Lena works part-time at a daycare. Jason works construction, but it's seasonal. They've never asked me for money directly until now. It's always gone through my parents. Update 2, 4 months since my last update. I wasn't going to write again, but people kept asking, and honestly, I need to document this while it's still fresh. My father called in January, no preamble. The bank started foreclosure proceedings. We need $18,000 to catch up on everything or we lose it. Where's Lena? What? Where's Lena in all this? Is she helping? She has 3 kids, Ethan. That's not an answer. She doesn't have the money. Has she tried to get it? Silence. Has she sold the truck you refinanced your house to buy her? That's not fair. None of this is fair, Dad, that's the point. So you're just going to let us lose our home? The thing about that sentence, the way he said it, like I was the one making it happen, like I held the power and was choosing cruelty, it clarified everything. I didn't refinance your house for a truck. I didn't hide that decision from family who might have helped. I didn't spend years taking money without ever asking if the person giving it was okay. You did those things. Lena did those things. This is happening because of choices you both made. You're our son, and you're my parents, but that doesn't make me responsible for fixing problems I didn't create and wasn't even told about. He hung up on me that time. The house went into foreclosure in February. My parents moved into a small rental about 20 minutes from where they'd lived for 30 years. I heard this through my uncle, not from them. Then last week my phone rang at 11 p.m. Lena, crying so hard I could barely understand her. He left, Jason left, he cleaned out our account and he's gone. I didn't say anything, just listened. He's been cheating for over a year, living with her now. He took everything, Ethan, everything. Where are you? Mom and Dad's rental. We moved in yesterday, all 4 of us in 1 bedroom. I'm sorry that happened to you. I need to borrow $5,000, just temporary, just until I get back on my feet. I'll pay you back, I swear. I almost laughed, almost. The sound came out, but it wasn't quite laughter. The truck, I said. The one Mom and Dad mortgaged their house for, you still have it. She went quiet. Lena, the truck, yes or no? It was in Jason's name, he took it. And there it was, the perfect crystallization of everything. They'd risked the family home for a truck that wasn't even in her name, for a man who'd been planning his exit for over a year, with debt they'd racked up on what I'll never know. You told me I chose money over family, I said. You said if I left I had to pay for it. You said that, remember? Ethan, please. Now you get to choose. You get to figure out what you value more and what you're willing to sacrifice for it. Good luck. I hung up, blocked her number, felt nothing but a strange, hollow calm. My mother called the next morning from my father's phone. How can you be so cruel? Those children are suffering. I didn't make them suffer, their father did, and their mother made choices that led here. We're family, you've said that many times, usually right before asking for money, but family goes both ways, and for years it's only gone one way. I hung up on her too. I haven't heard from any of them since. My uncle texted me yesterday, told me some of the extended family finally learned the full story, the refinance, Jason's affair, the truck. Some of them apologized. Most just stopped commenting on social media about what a terrible son I am. Lena is unemployed now, living with our parents in a 2-bedroom rental that barely fits all of them. I don't know if she's getting child support. Don't know if Jason can even be found for that. I don't feel victorious. Don't feel vindicated, just tired. I spent years being the solution to problems I didn't cause. The The safety net for people who never thought about whether I needed one too. I'm not the one who caused my parents to lose their house. Their choices did that. I'm not the one who destroyed Lena's marriage. Her husband and his affair partner did that. I'm not responsible for fixing other people's lives by setting mine on fire. That's not abandonment. That's just choosing not to drown. Edit, people asking if I feel guilty, sometimes. Late at night, when I think about my nieces and nephew in a cramped rental because their parents made terrible choices. But guilt isn't the same as responsibility. And feeling bad isn't the same as being obligated to fix it. Edit 2. Someone asked if I'd help with the kids directly, like paying for their school stuff without giving money to Lena. I thought about it. The answer is no. Not because I don't care about them, but because any help I give gets filtered through people who have proven they'll misuse it. And I can't save children from their parents' choices. I can only stop letting those choices consume my life too. Final update: it's been 6 months since everything fell apart. This is my last update because there's nothing left to say after this. My mother still calls sometimes. Not from her number, I blocked that, from random numbers, gas stations, friends' phones. She never speaks, just breathes into the line until I hang up. I don't know what she wants. An apology maybe, money probably. For me to break and come running back to fix everything. I won't. My father sent one letter. Actual mail, handwritten. It arrived last month. I almost didn't open it. Inside was 2 pages about how they did their best, how they made mistakes but they were trying, how family is supposed to forgive. Nothing about the refinance. Nothing about the lies, nothing about Lena. Just vague statements about how I'm being unreasonable, and they don't understand why I'm so angry. I didn't write back. The extended family has mostly split into camps. Half think I'm cruel for abandoning my parents in their time of need. The other half knows the full story and has quietly stopped pressuring me. A few relatives reached out privately to apologize for believing the narrative my parents were spreading. I appreciated that, but it doesn't change anything. Lena hasn't contacted me again. I heard through my uncle that she's working now retail, something part-time that works around the kids' schedules. She's still in the rental with our parents. Jason hasn't paid child support. The court is involved, but he's good at hiding income. My mother posted on Facebook last week. A memory from when we were kids, me and Lena at some park, both smiling. The caption was about how she misses when her family was whole. The comments were predictable. Half the people didn't know the context. The other half tried to gently remind her that I have boundaries for reasons. I didn't comment. Didn't react. Just let it exist in whatever version of reality she's constructed where I'm the villain of her story. Someone asked me recently if I'd ever reconcile with them. If there was a path back to being family again, I don't think so. Not because I'm holding a grudge, not because I'm punishing them, but because reconciliation requires 2 things they've never offered: accountability and change. They're not sorry they lied, they're sorry I found out. They're not sorry they used me, they're sorry I stopped letting them. That's not the foundation for rebuilding. That's just different packaging for the same dynamic. I'm not angry anymore. That's what surprises me most. I was angry for months, furious at the lies, the manipulation, the years of being taken for granted. But anger requires energy and investment, and some part of me that still cares enough to be hurt. I don't care anymore. Not in the cruel way. In the way where their choices simply don't affect me anymore. Where their crises aren't my emergency. Where their opinions about my character don't shape how I see myself. My parents made a choice to risk their house for my sister. Then they made another choice to lie about it. Then another to demand I fix it. Each choice was theirs. Each consequence is theirs too. I didn't abandon them. I just stopped volunteering to be collateral damage for their decisions. Lena lived her entire adult life being prioritized and protected and given things she didn't earn. Now she's facing reality without a safety net. That's not my fault. That's just what happens when the people propping you up finally step back. I'm building a life that's entirely mine now. Bought a house last month. Had people over to help me move in, friends I've made here, colleagues I trust, my girlfriend of 8 months who knows the whole story and loves me anyway. Nobody from my hometown was there. Nobody from my family, and I didn't miss them. That's how I know I've made the right choice, not because I feel vindicated, because I feel free. People keep asking if I regret not helping, if I wish I'd sent the money and kept the peace. The answer is no. Helping people isn't help when it enables them to keep making destructive choices. Keeping the peace isn't peace when it requires you to set yourself on fire. I didn't let my parents lose their house. They lost it through their own choices years before I even knew it was at risk. I didn't abandon my family. I refused to be consumed by people who saw me as a resource instead of a person. There's a difference. I'm finally learning to see it. My therapist asked me last week what I'd say to my younger self. The version of me who started sending money 5 years ago, thinking he was being a good son, a good brother, a good family member. I'd tell him, you can't save people who aren't trying to save themselves. I'd tell him, love without boundaries isn't love, it's just slow-motion self-destruction. I'd tell him, you will survive them seeing you as the villain. You'll survive them spreading lies. You'll survive the guilt and the doubt and the 3 a.m. wondering if you're wrong. You'll survive because you'll finally stop carrying weight that was never yours to carry. I'm 34 years old, and I'm just now learning that I don't owe anyone access to my life just because we share blood. That I don't owe anyone my financial stability just because they're struggling. That I don't owe anyone my peace just to keep theirs intact. Some people will call this selfish. Those people have never been the designated family ATM, have never watched their own needs get dismissed because someone else's wants were louder. I call it survival, not the dramatic kind, the quiet kind. The kind where you wake up one day and realize the constant weight in your chest is gone because you finally put down something you were never meant to carry. This is my last update because there's nothing left to resolve. No reconciliation coming. No dramatic confrontation where everyone apologizes and sees the light. Just me, living my life. Them, living theirs. And a very firm boundary between the two. That's not a happy ending. But it's an honest one. And after years of lies, I'll take honest over happy every single time. Edit. Someone asked if I'd help if there was a genuine emergency. Medical crisis, house fire, something truly catastrophic. I don't know, honest answer, maybe. But it would have to be verified, transparent, and not filtered through people who have proven they'll lie. And I'd need to see evidence that they'd exhausted every other option first. I'm not saying never. I'm saying not like this, not anymore. Edit 2. For everyone who shared their own stories of being the family ATM, I see you. I hear you. You're not selfish for having boundaries. You're not cruel for refusing to fund other people's poor choices. You're not abandoning anyone by choosing to save yourself. We're taught that family is everything, but sometimes family is the thing we need saving from. Final edit. Thank you to everyone who followed this story, offered support, and shared their own experiences. This community helped me see that I wasn't losing my mind. That boundaries aren't betrayal. That choosing myself wasn't the same as abandoning everyone else. I'm logging off this account now, moving forward, building something better. To anyone still stuck in the cycle, there's a way out. It's hard and it's lonely and people will hate you for it. But on the other side is a life that's actually yours. That's worth more than keeping the peace.